Good evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Tamir Nimsat. Let's have a look at the headlines. Cabinet approves signing a cooperative agreement with USAID to receive a grant of over $50 million. Debt compared to the GDP will reduce to 95% by 2032, Subject Minister says. News in detail. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved a substantial revision to the cooperative agreement with the United States, increasing the grant amount to $52.835 million under the program for a Sri Lanka with democracy, prosperity and the capability to face disasters. The decision was announced by the Cabinet co-spokesperson and Minister Bandula Gunawardena at the post-Cabinet media briefing held in Colombo yesterday. The initial agreement, signed in 2022, allocated over $9 million to support Sri Lanka in strengthening democratic governance, promoting economic prosperity and enhancing disaster resilience. This amount has been progressively increased throughout the year, reaching over $28 million. The latest revision, proposed by the United States Agency for International Development, further escalates the grant to over $52 million. The proposal was presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in his capacity as the Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policies Minister. Speaking at the press briefing, Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that a $1 million grant from the United Nations Environment Programme has been reassigned from the Environment Ministry to the Transport and Highways Ministry. The Cabinet co-spokesperson said that this move aims to develop a sustainable and efficient electric mobility system in Sri Lanka. The UNEP, with support from the Green Environment Fund, initially awarded the grant to the Environment Ministry. However, recognizing the expertise and resources required to effectively manage such an initiative, the Transport and Highways Ministry was identified as the most suitable entity to spearhead the project. Minister Gunawardena stated that the move is part of Sri Lanka's broader commitment to environmental sustainability and aligns with global efforts to combat climate change. Minister Gunawardena said that the decision to resign the funds was based on the ministry's comprehensive understanding of the transportation sector and its ability to ensure a sustainable and efficient electric mobility system. He added that the project will focus on developing infrastructure for electric vehicles, promoting the use of EVs and implementing policies that support sustainable transportation, particularly for public transportation. Minister Bandula Gunawardena says that the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the establishment of 924 rainwater harvesting tanks in Jaffna, using the remaining funds from an ongoing project supported by the Government of India. The Cabinet co-spokesperson said that this initiative aims to provide clean drinking water for the people in the Jaffna district. The original project, approved in 2016, involved the construction of 3,000 rainwater harvesting tanks funded by the Government of India. However, due to financial and technical challenges, the project timeline was extended. In 2022, the Cabinet approved an extension of the project till June 2024, along with a change in the tank material from ferrocement to PVC. This adjustment allowed for the installation of nearly 2,000 PVC rainwater tanks. Minister Gunawardena highlighted that by providing clean drinking water through rainwater harvesting, the initiative aims to improve the quality of life for residents and promote sustainable water management practices. The proposal was presented by Justice, Prison Affairs and Constitutional Reforms Minister Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. Stay tuned. We will return after the short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. State Minister for Finance Shahan Semasinghe announced that all uncertainties surrounding Sri Lanka's state sustainability have been resolved. He said that with it, the public debt to GDP ratio is expected to be reduced to 95% by 2032, with the gross financial requirement lowered to 13% and foreign debt servicing reduced to 4.5% between 2027 and 2032. The State Minister made this announcement during a press briefing at the Presidential Media Centre yesterday. The State Minister highlighted that despite the complexities of debt restructuring for a middle-income country like Sri Lanka, significant progress has been made. The agreements include a grace period from 2024 to 2027, allowing the country to use approximately $5 billion for the benefit of its people. Additionally, Semasinghe also highlighted the positive economic indicators resulting from the current economic management approach. The state minister added that inflation has decreased from 70% to 1.7% and the interest rate for one-year treasury bills has reached 10%. Navaloka Hospitals, a pioneer in tertiary healthcare in Sri Lanka, has reached a significant milestone with the successful completion of 500 kidney transplant surgeries. This achievement was celebrated during a special felicitation ceremony held at the hospital premises recently. The ceremony honored the trailblazers in the field of nephrology, including renowned nephrologists and surgeons who have made significant contributions to this life-saving procedure. Senior medical professionals including nephrologists Dr. L.M. Nazar, Dr. Madhu Selvaraja, Dr. Rushika Landrol, and many others, along with surgeons Professor Mandika Vijayaratna, Dr. Lalita Piyasiri, and their esteemed colleagues, graced the occasion. Chairman of Navaloka Hospitals, Dr. Jayant Dharmadasa, said that this achievement is a testament to the hard work and stringent health guidelines followed by our medical staff. Dr. Dharmadasa also paid tribute to the pioneers of kidney transplants in Sri Lanka, including Professor Rizvi Sharif, Professor Sharif Dean, and Professor Jerry Jayasekar, who conducted the first transplant surgery in the country. Speaking at the event, the General Manager of Navaloka Hospitals, Professor Lal Gotabe Chandrasena, said that Navaloka Hospitals has been at the forefront of introducing the latest technologies to the Medicare sector, even surpassing government institutions on many occasions.
Navaloka Hospitals has been in the forefront of medicine and technology since our inception. For instance, as you all know, the very first CT scanner was introduced to Sri Lanka by Navaloka Hospitals in 1987. And the very first MRI scanner was also introduced to Sri Lanka by Navaloka Hospitals in 1995, long before even the Sri Lankan government installed their scanners. And the very first cath lab in the private sector and the very first coronary artery bypass graft in this country was performed at Navaloka Hospitals in the year 1994. We performed 4 liver transplant surgeries in the year 2012. And the very first lung transplant was done in this hospital in the year 2011. So we have led the way right along. After 2012, the kidney transplants were regularized by the Ministry of Health under the Tissue Transplant Act 48 with the ethical committees. From 2012 up to June 2024, as authenticated by the Ministry of Health, Navaloka Hospitals has performed 542 kidney transplants up to date.
Stay tuned for stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The All Share Price Index dropped 81.15 points to close at 12,037.14 and the S&P SL 20 dropped by 33.96 points to close at 3,540.05. The turnover was 1.5 billion rupees and over 79 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.